What's up, YouTube? We are back with another market analysis video. I am going to be giving y'all not only my swing trading ideas, but as well as my position trading ideas. If you haven't watched my last video, go watch it. I talked about how I am looking to transitioning into a position trader, not completely abandoning swing trading, just to be very clear, right? But I want to add a new style of trading in the background as passive income. So without further ado, I just want to go ahead and jump into my analysis. So let's go ahead and get into it. First things first, I'm going to go over a few pairs. I'm going to go over GA, USDJPY, and gold. Those are the three I'm going over. So let's start with GA, right? This is GA on the weekly time frame. I just kind of want to show y'all first my position trading idea and then how the swing trading idea is going to be embedded within that. So GA, as you can see, for a while we were on a downtrend, right? We were on a downtrend, but that has changed. If I jump to a line chart and notice, right, the weekly, at one time we were making, you know, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, right? And then we failed to break a low, and then we came up and we broke what? This was support, not support, I'm sorry, this was resistance. This was weekly resistance right here. Price did what? Price came and we broke weekly resistance, came back to retest, show we didn't want to go any lower than the previous low, and then we broke back above, making our weekly time frame bullish, right? Okay, currently if you look, the weekly, we are approaching another resistance level, right? But we do understand long term we are bullish, right? So while we are meeting some sellers right here, we understand that buyers should be stronger here because we are bullish, right? Another reason why I believe that buyers are a bit stronger, if you actually zoom out a bit more, right? So as a position trader, you actually want to kind of see where price wants to go within the next 3 months, right? So if I was looking back for the next 3 months and I just want to see how price action was looking, well, look at the 3 month period, right? This is my 3 month candle. Notice how our last 3 month candle ended as a doji, right? Notice how we're starting a uptrend on the 3 month period, right? And usually 9 times out of 10, right, when you have this doji, right, you have your bearish candle, your doji, your next candle is usually some kind of bullish morning star candle. So I do expect within the next 3 months to see a lot of bullish push on this particular pair, potentially even getting to these highs up here around 2.1 thousand, right? So I'm gonna actually mark this level up because this is a long-term target for position trading, right? So I'm looking at this area long-term. Jumping back to the weekly, right? So as a position trader, something that I do, I typically don't really look to scale in for an entry. I kind of just set my limit orders and I just let it do its thing, right? So from here, I'm actually looking to draw a fib. Again, remember, we made this new high, right? So this is the lower high, higher high, right? I'm looking for price to basically come back. And let me zoom in a little bit so y'all can see. I'm looking for price to kind of come back around this area before making this next pump to the upside, right? That's what I'm looking for. So all I'm doing as a position trader, I am drawing a fib, right, from the swing low to the swing high, right? And I will be setting limit orders on my 38, my 50, and my 61, right? So essentially I'll have a limit order here, right? I have another limit order right here, and I have another buy limit order around here, right? Stop loss is going to be in between my 0.71, right? Because it's very rare for price to break below the 78. So I just feel comfortable putting it right here, right? I'm looking for price to basically come down, right? Trigger my alerts and then get to the next level, right? As far as take profits, right, we have a couple levels, right? We have the 0, we have the 27, and we have the 61. So I will be taking this on my prop firm account, right? I started a 100K prop firm challenge, and I am looking to potentially take this up. I will be taking partials around the 0, the 27, and the 61, and I will be leaving runners as well. Why? Because I literally just said, where do I expect price to be within the next 3 months? All the way up there, right? I expect price to, you know, have a big rally, so I will be leaving runners as well after taking partials. So this is my idea for the position trade. Now let me show you my idea for the swing trade, right? So let's just remove all this for a second. Okay, so looking into swing trading, we're dropping back down to the lower time frame. We're looking at the daily, right? Notice how the daily time frame is bullish, right? We've been making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher high. But I want y'all to notice something real quick, right? Notice how in the beginning of this trend, our higher highs and higher lows are very strong, right? Very strong bullish push to the upside, right? Nice retracement. Very strong bullish push to the upside, right? you get your retracement, and then look what kind of happens here. Our momentum is starting to slow down a bit, right? We're starting to slow down. We're starting to lose some momentum around this level, right? So we're getting signs of exhaustion on the daily time frame, but a potential sign that price may look to, you know, have some kind of correction. That's that correction on the weekly that I was talking about, right? So we're kind of seeing signs of that. If I jump even lower, right, to the 4 hour, and before I do that, let me just mark out that this is my daily support down here. Cool. Right. Okay, let's jump down even lower to a 4 hour time frame. Okay, so what's going on with the 4 hour time frame? Let's just mark out structure, right? We made a, what was it, a higher high, right? And it came down, and in price we were pretty much ranging, right? This is all the range, until we finally broke above, right? This candle did close above this candle, making a new, what, higher high, right? So this is our high point, right? And this is our lowest point of the range. So pretty similar to like the daily time frame. I'm kind of watching, because now we're in the range, right? We didn't make a new high or a new low, right? So we do have this resistance level up here. So we're kind of in this range, we're in this box. I don't want to trade anything within this box, right? I want to see price either, you know, decide to break above, right, or decide to break below, which I do think is more likely to break below, right? So honestly, all I'm really waiting for on GA, I'm waiting for price to break below at some point, because either we're going to break above or break below. Regardless, I'm waiting for a breaker structure. If price decides to break below, I am looking for that potential weekly pullback, like I said, and I want to trade that down. So if price was deciding to break this daily support, which is also acting as 4 hour support, right? If we were to break below, I would want to see price come back to retest this level, and that would be my particular entry. I would look to enter around this area and then hold sales to the downside. As far as targets, if we jump back, we can jump back to the weekly and we can mark out the last place price broke structure on the weekly. So if we look here on the weekly time frame, we see this was the last place price broke structure. So this is a great place to target for sales, right? Looking to target this potential area. I'm going to include the wick as well. This whole zone is just an area where we can look to sell down to. So this is going to be my weekly area of interest, right? Looking to see if we can sell down to that area. So yeah, definitely looking to potentially scale in, get our break and retest entry, and sell down to this zone. That's what I'm looking at for GA for my swing trade idea. Now, if price decides to, you know, break above, like let's say price just shoots up, right? That's cool, right? Probably not going to engage in buying, because I do feel like the daily time frame is just very exhausted, and I don't want to buy in the premium, right? I want to sell in the premium and buy in discount. That's what I'm waiting for. We're just waiting for a simple break, retest of this level to sell to this area. And then on the weekly time frame, position trading, we're going to have our limit orders ready to take it back up. Let's move on to USDJPY. So here we have USDJPY. Again, I'm going to start with the position trading idea and then move on to the actual swing trade idea. So I'm going to start really high and then work my way down. So USDJPY, as a position trader looking at this chart, I see that on the weekly time frame, we are indeed making higher highs, higher low, higher high. If I was to draw a fib, right, swing high, swing low, my last fib, right, notice how price made it to the 27 extension. If you understand Fibonacci and you watch my videos, if you don't understand Fibonacci, go check out my Fibonacci videos on my channel, right? It's really good. Usually when price gets to the 27 extension, that's when you see the retracement back to the downside to make that second leg, right? So essentially, I'm just waiting for price to kind of do that, right? So I can actually delete this fib. And because I see that price is starting to reject and react to this area and starting to retrace, I can actually draw a new fib on the weekly, right? Swing low, swing high, right? And I am potentially looking, again, same thing, just like on GA. As a position trader, I'm not trying to scale in or do anything crazy. I just want to get into the trade and just ride it up, right? I am looking to, again, put limit orders on the 38, the 50, and the 61, right? So again, same thing, limit order here, targeting what? Get the retracement. We're looking for the 0 as a take profit 1, the 27 as a take profit 2, and then the 61 as my take profit 3, right? That is what we're looking for. Now, the thing with UJ, I can't really target anything on the high time frame, because if you look we are kind of at all-time highs right now, right? Like we're at a place where price is just we just never been here before. So I don't have anything on the high time frame to target, so I have to take profit at my, you know, Fibonacci levels because I have nothing else to target, right? So UJ is a little bit more, you know, I don't want to say riskier, but just a little bit up in the air because we don't have those like levels to get to in the past. But I do strongly believe in fibs, and so far as you can see, the fibs has been working pretty well, right? So yeah, I will have these orders set as well for USDJPY, and this is my position trading idea. So for my swing trading idea, right, we're gonna drop down. We understand the weekly is bullish, we already understand that, right? And we understand that the weekly is looking for a potential correction. We can see here on the daily time frame what just happened, right? Daily time frame, if you notice, daily structure was broken, right? I talked about that last week. Price, we came and we broke daily structure, right? We came back and we made equal highs on the daily, right? And we broke back below, as you can see, right? Potentially looking to, you know, create a new lower low. So I am targeting liquidity right here. There is liquidity sitting below these wicks, right? And there's also the psychological level 160. And if you remember, right, if we remember on the weekly, remember we had this fib drawn on the weekly time frame, swing low, swing high. This is also our 38% level. So there's a lot of things and confluences here, right? This is also previous structure where price was. So essentially I'm looking to sell price back down to the psychological level, which there's also liquidity, which there's also this previous structure on the weekly, right? So I'm looking to sell down to about the 160 level is what I'm looking for. Price, we already did have that break of structure. I am looking for some kind of pullback so I can look to sell below, because my 4 hour wasn't really shifting in the right direction yet. I needed some kind of like bearish drop, which we finally got. We broke that structure. And yeah, I'm just waiting to get some kind of break and retest entry so I can actually try to sell it below. So the 4 hour is a little wonky to me. I might have jumped to a 1 hour or something. Yeah, the 1 hour looks like it's building back up, probably looking to grab some of this liquidity, right? There's liquidity sitting all in here. Basically, if the 1 hour does decide to end up breaking structure, that's cool and all, but before I sell, I need my price to go back bearish. So I'm kind of watching to see what price wants to do. It looks like we're building back up, which is cool, of course, right? But I need structure to be bearish before I can take sales, right? So kind of watching the 1 hour for an entry, seeing what the 4 hour does. The only thing I don't like about doing these weekly analysis is that usually when I post them, there's like a big gap in the market, and then my analysis is like completely thrown off. So we're gonna see what happens when the market gaps up. It could just drop down here and I'm just like, well, you know, kind of out of luck. So we'll see how the market opens. If anything changes, I will give y'all an update on my Telegram, of course. If you don't follow the Telegram, the link is in the bio. Go ahead and, you know, sub to the Telegram, you know, it's free. And yeah, we are going to see what UJ does. Not really sure what's happening with this price action, but I do want to see price get to this level before buyers kick in. So I am looking to at some point take UJ down to this level. Okay, and last and certainly not least, we have gold, right? So as of gold, I just kind of want to start, I'm gonna back out a little bit. This is my swing trade idea, but I'm gonna show y'all the position trade idea for a second, right? So jump to the weekly, and let me just hide my drawings for a second, just hide everything, right? If you look, we do see that long term, gold is a little tricky, right? Long term, we do see that gold is, you know, currently making lower lows, lower highs on the weekly, right? Now, my thing about gold is that I understand that gold, I'm a little subjective with gold. I know that long term, gold is a extremely bullish instrument, like usually extremely bullish. I don't really want to place a sell limit like here, like swing high, swing low, and then put the sell limits here. I don't really want to do that because I don't know if gold is gonna follow that, if I'm being completely honest with you. So really and truly with gold, I'm kind of just looking for swing trading entries as of now, but I still want to use this level as like a potential target. So if I put my drawings back on, notice how I marked off this level as the last place price, you know, we broke structure. There's a chance that, you know, price could react to this level and the sellers could kick in, right? I don't want to assume that with gold, because gold I'm just a little about, right? But there is a big chance that, you know, price, like sellers can't kick in around this area because this was the last place we sold off on the weekly, right? So for as a swing trader, if I drop down to the lower time frame, I see on the daily time frame, price did what? We were making lower lows, lower highs, right? Lower lows, lower highs. We just failed to make a low, and then we pushed up, right? We came down and we're starting to push up again. So if price breaks this level, we will actually be breaking daily resistance, right? And if price breaks daily resistance, that means price for sure has potential to get to this level, right? It for sure has potential, because that resistance will no longer be a problem. And on the weekly, if you look at the candles, you can kind of see we are rejecting this psychological level 4,000. This was the last place price bought up extremely strongly right here. We're back at this level, and look what we're doing. We're rejecting, right? We're rejecting. Kind of had this indecision candle from last week, well, 2 weeks ago, and then last week again we came down and rejecting. So I wouldn't be surprised if I saw some more, you know, push to the upside, looking to kind of fill, you know, this imbalance up here. So in the 4-hour time frame, I noticed that price did this, right? We were at one point making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower low, lower high, right, equal low, and then we broke above. So we broke structure for a little bit, but then we broke back bearish again, right? So we're bearish, making lower lows, lower highs, and then we break back up bullish, right? We push up, we retest this level, right? And we push up. I actually took this trade. Actually, it was like 2 weeks ago. I took this buy up here, right? And I knew that we had some, you know, sellers sitting here. So that's when I chose to close out. And as you can see, we did react to those sellers. However, notice how while we did react to sellers, what did we not break? We did not break 4-hour support. We still respected 4-hour support. So 4-hour support is still holding up very strong, right? We do have some internal structure in here, right? So this 4-hour internal structure is bearish. So you see that we're making lower low, lower high, lower low. Then the internal structure did what? The internal structure actually broke above, right? If you zoom in, you can see really closely that this candle indeed closed higher than this candle. If I jump to a line chart, you can see that this indeed closed higher than this, right? Making the internal structure both bullish again. You can also, instead of internal structure, you can just look at the 1 hour, right? If you look at the 1 hour, you see the same shit, the structure happens down here. This would have been a great 1 hour entry. I just missed it, but it's all good. But right now we're seeing that the 4-hour is looking to break back above. So that's why I actually have a buy stop order at this level. So when price does break back above this level, right, I'll have my stop underneath this wick, which was the potential, you know, new higher low. And then I'm targeting a few things, right? I'm targeting the 0, I'm targeting this 27 extension, and depending on how strong price push, I might even hold to around the 61, or even potentially this level that we marked up on the weekly, right? So there's a weekly level. Remember we said that price is trying to come back potentially to this level where there are sellers, right? We could potentially even hold to that level on the 4-hour, right? So there's just a lot of levels you can choose to hold to, right? So it's up to you. You can either get out, you know, around 0, 27, 61, like whatever place you want to get out is completely up to you. But this would be the highest I would hold personally for a swing trade. I wouldn't hold higher than this. But yeah, that is my analysis on GA, USDJPY, and gold. I am pretty excited for the week. Excited to start this position trading journey again. I did buy the account, like this, the prop firm account. So we're gonna see how things go. I'm gonna set my first few position trades for the week or the month, or however long it takes, right? And yeah, we're gonna fill it out and just see how things go. Super excited, super stoked. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. If y'all did, make sure y'all leave a like. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe already. And yeah, I'm just gonna keep updating. I'm gonna try to bring back the swing trading vlogs. I haven't did a swing trading vlog in a long time, just so y'all can get my active thoughts about what's going on throughout the week, because I miss doing those, right? I really do. I miss doing them. So we're gonna bring those back. And yeah, until next time, y'all, have a good week. Bye.